Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Canada. I hope that all of you are having a great weekend. Hi Angel, hi Domenico, hi Constellation. Nice to see all of our members. Quotient, good to see you in the class. One of our members that we don't see all that often. I think it might be the first time. Hi Romelia. This is a members chat class. Everybody is welcome to attend. We will have speaking part 3 after this speaking part 2 class, so it's a good idea to hang in there. All right, students, let's get ready for this. Speaking part 2, the cue card, talking about an inspirational person. This material, as usual, is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are the websites that power these live classes, and we will certainly be using them today to interact with students and practice our English. Students, this is the academic IELTS website here with the blue background. And all you need to do to join our premium IELTS package is click the big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center. And you just simply click on that red button above my head there. Make payment. Use the discount code SITAR9 coming out of our most recent video for an extra little help, 10% discount, and you get lifetime access. You don't have to pay every month. You just pay once, and it doesn't cost a lot. Basically, it's the cost of a subscription, but you get it for life. For general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background. Click that big red button. We are world leaders when it comes to IELTS exam preparation, so you're in the right place. I'm a certified British Council agent, and I have been dealing with IELTS for over 15 years. All right, students. To get apps, go to your app store, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. The apps will link to the websites. For Instagram, it's IELTS_AE-help. We've hit 80,000 followers, I think, there, which is pretty cool. And then GIELTS help for general IELTS. For questions and emails, Adrian at aehelp.com. That's my name, at aehelp.com. Admin at aehelp.com. Those emails will get a reply within about 24 to 48 hours. And our books are on Amazon for you as well. So if you want to have a paperback exam book, just go to Amazon and get AE Helps Academic IELTS or GE Helps General IELTS. Students, again, speaking part 2 right now, talking about an inspirational person, and then speaking part 3, talking about inspiring people. It's kind of a fun way to finish the week. And then we have no class Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's per usual. We don't have classes on those days. And the following week, we'll have a Thursday, Friday live session, but then no class on Saturday next week, everybody. So there's one extra day off next week. A little bit of a summer break, and then, of course, there's always new videos. We will be releasing a new one in this coming week as well. This is the new video from last week. You can check that out. Hasty G, thank you for the Super Chat donation. I see that Super Chat donation there, Hasty G. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right, we don't get many of those. We don't promote those, so I guess maybe that's why. All right. Yeah. So, speaking, part 2. How to succeed. There are steps, and as long as you learn the strategy and the steps required, you can really, really do well. Now, it's very important that you do a good job in part 2 because part 3 is connected to part 2. And when the examiners decide whether you're a band 6, 7, 8, 9 on the speaking section, they're really looking at part 2 and part 3 mostly. All right, students. Step number 1. Let's read the cue card. So for those of you who are maybe a bit new, the way IELTS speaking is set up is you have a 12 to 15 minute interview via face-to-face or through a computer with an English expert, usually a native speaker. You have part 1, general questions, your name, getting to know you, and then some questions on your hobbies, sports. Part 1 takes about 6 minutes, 5 minutes. And then the examiner will say, that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these. Please do not touch the question booklet. You can take notes in this 1 minute time if you wish. You have some note paper and your pencil there. And then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Is that clear? And you say, yes, it is. And then the examiner says, talk about someone who has inspired you in your life, in sports, education, or career. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Maya, thanks for joining our premium membership. All right, so let's read the question carefully. That's step 1. Okay. So always read the sentence, the statement sentence again. Talk about someone who has inspired you in your life, in sports, education, or career. Who is this person and how you know them? Describe their personality. What does this person do that inspired you? What would you like to ask this person and why? Okay. You have to answer all the questions on the cue card. It's not just a guide. Okay, whoever says that is being silly. Okay, you must answer all the questions on the card in 90 seconds or less. Then you can add more relevant information and details if there is time. Okay. So I was a little bit off screen. Let me show you that again, okay? So step 1, read the question carefully. It's not just a guide. There's a weird rumor going around on the internet and people that the questions are there just to guide you. No, not if you want to get a good band score, okay? You must answer all the questions on the card in 90 seconds or less. Then you can add more relevant information and details if there's time, right? Because it's maximum 2 minutes. It's 1 to 2 minutes, all right? So that's what you need to do. I see a question there. MTJ, not G, right? I caught that in the last class, MTJ. So MTJ says, should I tell, or asking, MTJ is asking this. And questions are good. Members, ask me questions in the chat if you have them. It's good to ask questions because if you're wondering, probably a lot of other people are wondering as well. So the MTJ is asking, should I tell my examiner that I stutter even in my own native language so he would not mistake it for something else? Question mark. No. Answer. No. You do not need to tell your examiner this during the interview. However, if you have a speech impediment, like stuttering or stammering, okay, or a learning disability like dyslexia, you must indicate this on your application, on your IELTS application form, and provide professional documentation from a doctor, etc. When you do that, they will take that into consideration. They usually give you a little bit more time, and they consider that when they're giving you marks, okay? So this way, they will accommodate you by giving you extra time and taking it into consideration when marking. Okay, MTJ, is that clear? So you have to, there's a special place on your application form for the IELTS that asks you, do you have any special requirements? Okay, that's where you can indicate that. Okay, so very important, students, to do that. All right. You read the card. Sometimes it's a good idea to read the card twice just to get a really clear idea of what's going on. Talk about someone who has inspired you in your life, in sports, education, or career. Who is this person? How do you know them? Describe their personality. What does this person do that inspired you? What would you like to ask this person, and why? Okay, now let's imagine for a moment that you don't know the word inspire. That could be trouble. It's the key verb, right? What should you do? Okay, so what should you do? Habibi, definitely don't pick Elon Musk, okay? I'll tell you why in a second, but you might be able to figure that out. MTJ, even if you stutter just sometime, especially if it's when you're nervous, you need to get a note and you need to submit that when you apply, okay? Yeah, so Fuang says, try to guess the meaning. Yeah, from the content. Absolutely. Okay. Sure, and you probably can. So if you look at this question carefully, talk about someone who has inspired you in your life in sports, education, or career. You can probably figure out the meaning of inspired. What do you think it means? What is the meaning of inspired? Think about what it could mean from content. Okay. So here, Angel says it's a person who is impressive for us. Yeah, so Chayani says it's somebody who is encouraging us or motivating us, persuading us. Yes. Okay, so motivates, encourages, persuades, pushes. Okay, gives us ambition. It's good to think about those synonyms because they will be useful in your response. So a person that gives you that feeling of, hey, I want to do that. That looks like a great idea. I'm going to succeed. I'm going to be the best. Okay. Chani says gives us some positive vibes. Yes, all of those are a part of inspiration. Okay. Gives us energy to pursue. Absolutely. Gives us perseverance. Okay. All right. So that's step one. We read the question carefully. Step two, we figure out the category and the tense. Here we're talking about a person. When you talk about a person, talk about their appearance, what they look like, and then talk about their personality backed up by their actions. Okay, so person, what do they look like? Just a little bit so we can imagine the person, we can visualize them, their personality and their actions. Okay, personality and actions. All right, so for instance, they're happy. Okay, always smiling and laughing. Happy is the personality. They're joyful, they're cheery, they're happy, right? We need to understand what that means. They're always smiling. Elon Musk is always positive. He's always smiling in the photos. He's always laughing. He's having a good time. Obviously, he is a happy person. Now, when you do personality and actions, you can also do actions and personality. Right? That's kind of a fun way to do it as well, to switch it up. Now, the tense here, okay, is mostly past, present perfect, and maybe some present. I don't know about the future in this case. It's not asking you about the future. I know that one strategy people teach is past, present, future. You could maybe put one sentence in there about the future, but mostly it's past, right? So who is this person? How you know them? Describe their personality. What does this person do that inspired you? What would you like to ask them? Maybe some conditional there as well, right? Yes, Chayani, very good. Chayani said it at the same time. Chayani said conditional maybe? What would you like to ask them? If I had the chance to ask them a question, I would, right? Okay, absolutely. You're right, Chayani. It's a bit of conditional as well. Okay, so step one, step two should be very, very smooth. They should come nice and fast. Step one, step two should really only take you about 10 seconds of your preparation time. Then you get to step three. Step three might take you the entire rest of the time. Take as long as you need, even if it means that you're not really taking any notes. Okay? And Lydia says that step is thinking about 2 to 3 potential ideas, right? Of people who have inspired you in school, in work, or in sports. Okay? Sure, that's great. All right, give me some ideas, students. So who are some people that have inspired you? Okay, Anahita says, my father, my mother. Sure. In what? So Anahita, you need to identify in what domain. So is it school? Is it your work? Or is it in sports? In what way? Don't choose all of them. Lydia says, a disabled runner, Ben Common. Okay. Constellation says a friend majoring in philosophy and politics. Okay, what's their name? Double major, Constellation. Okay. Possibly. Domenico says high school teacher. Okay. For chemistry. Okay. All right. Then you could also go with some famous people like Barack Obama. a former US president, for example, or LeBron James, a basketball player, right? Or you could go with Steve Wozniak, computer engineer and builder for Apple, the original guy, right? Okay. So notice something interesting about this question here. Here, the question says, talk about someone who has inspired you in your life, in sports, education, or career. Okay. Now, we kind of have two categories of people here. We have well-known individuals, right? So, like Steve Wozniak, LeBron James, Barack Obama, Ben Common, for example. And then we have unknown individuals but personal acquaintances, right? So father, mother, friend majoring in chemistry, politics, high school teacher in chemistry. So we've got those individuals as well, right? Okay. Welcome, Pritesh, to our group of members. That's great. So what's the difference? What do you think is easier? Talking about a well-known figure like LeBron James, or talking about relatives and friends? So what do you think? What do you think is easier? Well-known figures like talking about LeBron James, Barack Obama, Steve Wozniak. Okay. Okay, Constellation says friends are easier because we know them. I would argue that well-known figures, the ones that you know. Yeah, Maya's like, I think Adrian's going to say well-known figures. All right. Romelia says, I know Adrian from AE Help. Yeah, exactly, Fuang. So here, it is better to choose a well-known figure that is somewhat original, because the examiner already has information and a picture about them. Okay? If you choose a family member, it's fine. You can do that. The examiner has no idea about them. Okay? So keep in mind that because you don't know your examiner and you have 1 to 2 minutes to speak, it's quite possibly, or sorry, I should say it's quite possible that you won't be able to deliver as effective of a speech on a new person that they have no idea of, like your father, mother, your cousin, or your friend, right? So here, in a 1 to 2 minute speech, you can be more coherent and effective when the listener already has knowledge of the answer. Does that make sense, everybody? And that's true not just obviously for this cue card and this question, but it's true for a lot of them. Now, some of the cue cards, be careful, they ask you about someone who you personally know. This one doesn't, okay? Generally, when the card does not ask you to talk about a person who you actually know personally, then it's better to choose a well-known figure, just because they're easy to picture to discuss, right? Does everybody get that? Does everybody get why it's easier to talk about a well-known person? Okay. All right. So for this reason, and try to make it so I wouldn't make it Elon Musk. Okay, this is going back to Habibe's choice before. Like Elon Musk, because likely too many candidates are choosing this. Okay. All right. So you have to be very quick and smart when you're making your final decision on who to talk about or what to talk about. Okay. Now here, again, notice that, we have talk about someone who inspired you in life, in sports, education, or career. Okay. So I'm going to go with Barack Obama this time. Okay. His wife, Michelle Obama, is, of course, another very well-known character. I'm choosing Barack Obama because there's lots of information. It is kind of original. Probably not every candidate is going to talk about Barack Obama. Okay, it's kind of original and fairly easy vocabulary. Okay. So once I have this information, or once I have my decision on who to talk about, then I can take notes. So that's my fourth step. And hopefully step 3 doesn't take me more than just 5-6 seconds, okay? But if it takes you longer, if it takes you some time, then invest the time, okay? It's very important that you're confident with your fourth step. Now, before I continue here, notice that when I was doing my planning, I chose Barack Obama, LeBron James, and Steve Wozniak, okay? Because I was also thinking about sports, education, and career. So maybe Steve Wozniak would be education, like computer engineering, okay? Maybe LeBron James would be an inspiration in sports as a very famous basketball player. And then maybe Barack Obama could be inspiration in my career, right? So I'm connecting those. Okay, so Barack Obama plus career. All right. Okay, so step 4 is notes. And when we say notes, we mean useful notes. Don't write down information that you will say anyways. Okay, so don't write down, for example, President of the United States. Okay, you know that. You don't need to write that down in your notes. So write down information about Barack Obama that will help you to give more details, give better vocabulary, give better grammar. And for your notes, keep them fairly simple. So talk about their appearance. Okay. And then talk about their actions backed up by their personality. It's a very important plus there. Okay, action, personality. So help me out here. What does Barack Obama look like? So his appearance. Okay. So average height. Okay. He's fit. He's definitely very fit. He's athletic. Yeah, he's got a big smile for sure, right? I was wondering if somebody would write that. Lydia says big smile. Yeah, he's got a huge smile. Absolutely. Dark eyes, short hair. Okay. And he is of African descent. Now there's a reason why I'm writing that, right? He's of African descent. He's got brown skin, so he's got a very tanned skin. He's an African American man. Is he tall, Maya? I don't know if he's that tall. He's I think kind of average height. Okay. All right. So that's good, and he's always well dressed. I don't know about you, but from the presidents that I've seen, he just seems to always have the best looking suit on, right? Okay. Okay, so his actions and his personality. So what is he like? Yeah, MTJ says that he's 1 meter 87 centimeters. So he's fairly tall, I guess. Yeah. Did you look that up, MTJ? It's 187. I thought he was actually a bit shorter, but okay. Okay, so he's benevolent, right? He has a lot of different charities and he helps the public in person. Okay. He is ambitious. He has overcome prejudice. Okay. So I would definitely mention that. All right. Okay. He's humanitarian, yes. He advocates for peace, right? So he spends a lot of his time emphasizing the importance of peace and peaceful negotiation. Okay, good. Okay, yeah, he's very honest. He's absolutely very intelligent. I believe he's a lawyer. And he's well spoken. Okay. All right, MTJ says it would be weird if I knew that by heart. Yeah, that would be. MTJ, it would be weird. So that's why I was guessing you looked it up. Okay, he's got strong principles. Yes, absolutely. He's a responsible father and leader. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's got one child, right? I'm not sure. But anyway, again, keep that in mind also, students, that if you say a fact about Barack Obama that might not be true, the examiner will not judge you for that. They might think, hey, you might not know that exactly. It might be off, but you won't lose marks for some wrong information. As long as it's believable, okay? So don't say 20 children, right? Adele says he's got 2 daughters. Yeah, okay. All right, good. So that's lots of information there. Make sure not to forget the cue card as well. So always think about the cue card. What does this person do that inspired you? What would you like to ask this person and why? Okay. So the question, okay, what would you ask this person? I would ask, Where does he get all his energy from to be as productive as he is? Okay, and we can kind of go into details. Now, again, these are notes, so you want to keep your notes as simple as possible. I'm coming back on screen in a second here, students. Okay. All right. So here, the notes, I would keep it simple. Where energy. That's all I would write. Okay. So just that. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Romelia. So the information does not have to be 100% accurate. It needs to be believable, but the English definitely should be. Yeah. Okay. And then what's my next step? So I've got Barack Obama here. I've got some useful notes. What's my next step? My fifth and final step, very important step as well. Okay. Your first sentence, absolutely. So you can be fluent and focused, okay? Too many candidates waste too much time starting their 1 to 2 minute response by either going too general or going off topic. So a lot of people will say, there are many people who have inspired me in life, like my father, my brother, my friends, but the person I would like to talk about today is. No, don't waste time. Be very direct. And extremely inspirational individual in my life has been Barack Obama, the former president of the United States. Okay? So that's what you need to start with. An extremely inspirational individual in my life has been Barack Obama, the former president of the United States. Why am I using present perfect here? Has been. Okay. Why present perfect in this opening sentence? Chani says, a person who really encouraged me in my life is Barack Obama, a former president in the USA. Lydia writes, the person who has inspired me in my career path is Barack Obama, the previous president of the United States. He's actually now 2 presidents ago, right? A person who has inspired me in my education is a charismatic woman, Muniba Mazari. Anahita, that's good, but let's try to practice this and then you can practice that one later. Maya says he is still alive. No, Maya, that's not why I'm using present perfect. Yeah, Maya, exactly. He's still inspiring us. Yes. Yeah. So, exactly. Okay, so here I'm telling my listener that the person inspired me, is still inspiring me, and will continue to inspire me in my life. So I'm using the present perfect. An extremely inspirational individual in my life has been Barack Obama, the former president of the United States. He is a fairly tall man, around 187 centimeters. Quite fit and slender. Short, curly hair. Dark eyes. Dark, intelligent eyes. And a great big smile. Importantly, he is of African descent and the first president of the USA with a darker complexion. Okay. Now that will become important, right? Because obviously that has been a hurdle or a challenge in world history, in Western history, in U.S. history, where there is equality among people of different race, religion, creed, right? So this is quite important, and that's why I'm mentioning it at this time. And I'm kind of leading, or I'm foreshadowing by saying, importantly, he is of African descent and the first president of the USA with a darker complexion. Okay. All right. Now, talk about his personality, right? So, Barack Obama has several very positive personality traits. He is kind and he is a humanitarian. He spends much of his time with hands-on work to educate and assist people with certain needs, such as financial or medical, both in America and around the world. In fact, I just watched a documentary on Netflix where he is the narrator and he brings attention to the need for environmental awareness so that humans can prosper for many generations. That's actually true. I don't know if you've seen that, but there's a documentary on Netflix, and Barack Obama is the narrator. He's the one that's discussing the importance of taking care of nature. Anahita, if you can't talk about his appearance this much, that's okay. Just talk about the most important parts. So he's tall and he is of African descent. He's the first president who has a darker complexion, right? He is extremely persistent and has overcome many challenges in his life, not the least of which has been prejudice. As the first African American president, he has inspired millions of people around the world, including myself, to never give up and achieve goals. Indeed, I have had a dream to become a high-ranking politician. And at times I have thought this impossible because of my humble roots. Since I do not come from a wealthy and influential family, I did not believe that I could have a career in politics before I saw the successes of Barack Obama. Okay, so I'm just making this up. I'm not planning to be a politician. Don't worry, everybody. I will still be here teaching you IELTS. Of course, I'm just being creative here. But I'm thinking about, how Barack Obama could potentially inspire me in a certain aspect of my life. And here I'm just focusing on his ability to inspire people to achieve their goals, especially in maybe their career, regardless of the stereotypes and challenges that are in that person's way. Okay? All right. Angel says, most of the time I prefer to be honest and talk about my role model. In this case, I can provide a better answer. You have to test it. Okay? So you need to check. Okay, so I can see that some of you are a little bit like, would I talk about Barack Obama, or would I talk about my father if that's my honest opinion, right? Here is an interesting thought. Okay, this is a really good tip for you to try. Okay, so tip time. All right. So you have a hypothesis, right? You may hypothesize that you can speak better when you speak the truth. Like talking about your mother as an inspirational person. Okay? What you need to do is you need to test your hypothesis. Okay? How do you do that? Simple. Record yourself on your phone giving an answer about a person who is related and a person who is well known. And don't just do it once, right? Because doing it only one time might not give you accurate results. Do this several times, okay? I don't think this will be the same for everybody. I think that for some people, it might be easier and more fluent and coherent if they talk about a person that they know. For others, it might be easier and more fluent and better if they talk about a well-known individual, place, or object, right? So test it out and prove your hypothesis, or prove the null hypothesis, the opposite, right? That you actually do better when you talk about a well-known individual. Test it. Record yourself. You might surprise yourself. You'd be like, whoa, that made a lot more sense. Now, one way to test it and to be sure get your friend or another person to listen to the recordings and get their opinion, because you might think, oh yeah, when I talked about my mom, it was way better and it was way more coherent, right? but that's because it's you and you know your mom and there's already a lot of information in your head about the person, right? Get your friend or get someone who maybe doesn't know your mom to listen to the recording, and then they can give their opinion, and they might say, well, that one makes a lot more sense to me just because I already have some information. Then you know that the examiner will also kind of be the same. Does that make sense? So for all of you who are kind of wondering, like, should I talk about a person who I know personally, like my friend or my teacher, or should I talk about a well-known individual? Test it, right? Test to see how it works for you, right? That should make sense. Okay. Domenico and Cheyenne say, yeah, thumbs up, that makes sense, right? So test it. Test it. All right, since I do not come from a wealthy and influential family, I did not believe that I could have a career in politics before I saw the successes of Barack Obama. When he was elected president at the start of the millennium, I felt over the moon, and I knew that any career goal is possible with the right attitude. Given the chance to ask any question from Mr. Obama, I would ask, where did you get all your energy to accomplish so much in such a short time? The reason for this is that I often feel exhausted in my pursuit of academics and political career. Okay? All right, so I have about 90 seconds of speech here, and I've answered, I believe, the questions on the cue card. Okay? Now here in the IELTS, I would certainly check the card to make sure that I've answered all of the questions. So I would go, okay, talk about someone who has inspired you in life, in education or career. I talked about education and career and inspiration. Who is this person and how do you know them? Okay, I've talked about who they are. I didn't really talk too much about how I know them. Describe their personality. So I'm going to leave a question mark there. I've done that. What does this person do to inspire you? I've done that. What would you like to ask this person and why? I've done that. Okay. So when I recognize that I haven't really answered this question of how do you know them, then I can add that information. Okay, so I would certainly, especially if the examiner's kind of just looking at me like, okay, do you have anything else to say? You still have a little bit of time. I would definitely add that. I came to know Barack Obama not only through his actions and popular media presence, but also through his detailed biographies. I have read 3 different books about his life and achievements. And these have certainly taught me valuable perspectives and motivated me for success. Okay? So I would say that. All right, students, so I think you get the idea. Members, if you have any questions about this, now is the time. Let me know. I'm going to go through this answer. Speak and repeat, everybody. This is a speaking class, okay? Because after this exercise, you will have a chance to speak and answer this cue card. Okay, so again, let's just take a look at the cue card. So the examiner says, now I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these. Think about your answers. Talk about someone who has inspired you in your life, in sports, education, or career. Who is this person and how do you know them? Describe their personality. What does this person do that inspired you? What would you like to ask this person and why? Okay, and then after 1 minute, the examiner will say, your time is up. Please begin speaking. An extremely inspirational individual in my life has been Barack Obama, the former president of the United States. He is a fairly tall man, around 187 centimeters, quite fit and slender. Short curly hair, dark intelligent eyes, and a great big smile. Importantly, he is of African descent and the first president of the USA with a darker complexion. Barack Obama has several very positive personality traits. He is kind and he is a humanitarian. He spends much of his time with hands-on work to educate and assist people with certain needs, such as financial or medical, both in America and around the world. In fact, I just watched a documentary on Netflix where he is the narrator and he brings attention to the need for environmental awareness, so that humans can prosper for many generations. He is very persistent and has overcome many challenges in his life, not the least of which has been prejudice. As the first African American president, he has inspired millions of people around the world, including me, to never give up and achieve my goals. Indeed, I have had this dream to become a high-ranking politician, and at times I thought this might be impossible because of my humble roots. Since I don't come from a wealthy and influential family, I didn't believe that I could have a career in politics before I saw the successes of Mr. Obama. When he was elected president at the start of the millennium, I felt over the moon, and I knew that any career goal is possible with the right attitude. Given the chance to ask any question from Mr. Obama, I would ask, where did you get all your energy to accomplish so much in such a short time? The reason is I often feel exhausted in my pursuit of academic and political career. I came to know Barack Obama not only through his actions and popular media presence, but also through his detailed biographies. I have read 3 different books about his life and achievements, and these have certainly taught me valuable perspectives and motivated me for success. Okay, your time is up. Please put the note paper to the side with the pencil. Turn the note paper over. I will take back the question booklet and we will now continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you some questions related to your response and the topic of part 2. Okay. All right, students. So that's what a response here would look like. And I think, again, through this response, you're realizing, yeah, okay, it makes a lot of sense because I know a lot about Barack Obama. I've seen his books. I've seen his face. I know he's in the media lots, right? I know what he looks like, right? So it's empathetic. Domenico and Fong are giving lots of thumbs up, and I feel that that's probably because you really understand what I'm talking about and the inspiration, right? Could we achieve the same level of coherence talking about a family member like my mother or my father or my brother? Yes, is the answer. Would it be the same difficulty? I'm not sure. I'd have to test it, but I don't think so. My hypothesis is that it would be more challenging to reach this level of coherence and quality talking about a person that is unfamiliar for the listener. You might agree, but we'll see. Okay, and the way we're going to do that is through some volunteering. So members, I'm going to just get my headphones on here, and you can volunteer. I will show you how, everybody. This will be the same for the next class for Speaking Part 3 that's coming up. So go to aehelp.com, our website. Okay. And when you go to the website, again, to sign up for the premium version of the course, just simply click the big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and it really doesn't cost a lot of money, so check it out. Okay. Once you are in your My Student account, click on Student Partner Speaking. Okay. Accept the terms. This is the chat interface on the website for you to practice your speaking with other IELTS candidates, and you can also contact me here through the chat when I'm here during the live class. You can see that we have Ali, Riyad, Constellation, Nguyen, Sajan, Domenico, Angel Fuang, Lydia, Sunita, Priya, all in here ready to go. And then you will also see me in here. You're going to see me in here as Master. It's all capital letters. That's my handle in here. It's easy to identify. And then beside my name, you're going to see a little blue envelope like that as well. So click on the blue envelope and just write, I want to volunteer, or I want to try, and then I can give you a chance. All right. So we've got lots of volunteers here, which is great. Okay, many of them are full course purchasers, some are members. Domenico, I believe I said that I will keep you in mind for the next time because you didn't have a chance at the start of the week for volunteering. So let's give Domenico a shot here. He was very quick to message as well. Domenico, are you ready? Here we go. Yeah, Chayani, talking about Princess Diana could be a very good one as well. Absolutely. Oh, that's really loud.
Hello, Adrian.
Hi, Domenico. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, although I feel like I'm a melting glacier sitting in front of my on my laptop. You know,
You're still
it's,
melting.
yeah, it's a seasonally hot summer day. I think we are in the middle of a heat wave.
Okay. Why don't you go down to the beach and just hang your feet in the ocean?
Yes, you know the beach, the beach sounds tempting, incredibly tempting. You know, the sand, the waves crashing against the seashore. It's a perfect place to get away from this heat wave, you know. And I'm looking forward. But now I want to focus on delivering this answer.
Fair enough. And I want to hear your answer.
Yeah.
Okay, Domenico, I will start you off and then afterwards I will give you some feedback and share some tips and strategies with everybody. So, all right, here we go. Talk about someone who has inspired you in your life, in sports, education, or career. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. YouTube magic, your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
So, an individual incredibly inspirational in my life is my high school chemistry teacher, Mr. Joseph, whom I met when I entered high school. Uh, I would say Mr. Joseph's passion for the subject and dedication to teaching chemistry left a lasting impression on me. I vividly remember his infectious enthusiasm for chemistry and incredible depth of knowledge in the subject, uh, along with his charismatic and engaging personality, which allowed him to convey complex scientific concepts with ease by associating them with real life examples. Uh, what truly inspired me about Mr. Joseph was his talent for fostering a curiosity-driven approach to learning science. I must admit that during my high school years, the prospect of becoming a land surveyor held no interest for me, as I struggled with subjects like construction technology, land management, legal aspects related to land surveying, and economics. What's more, these subjects failed to ignite my passion, and every school day felt like a daunting challenge. However, he motivated me to think critically, ask questions, and delve deeper into these subjects, even though they didn't work up my enthusiasm. Because he would emphasize the importance of acquiring knowledge across these different domains, so recognizing that he would play a significant role in shaping my future
Okay.
career choices.
Oh, your time is up. I'm going to stop you there. And we will now continue to part 3. For this part, I will ask you some more questions related to your response. Please put the note paper and your pencil to the side. Okay, Domenico, that was pretty good. I caught a good part of that, and you used some really nice vocabulary, some very nice collocations. That would be about a band 7, okay, on the IELTS. What we want to improve here is fluency and content, okay, and a little bit of grammar. Okay. You have 2 very clear missing pieces in your response. One is what Mr. Joseph looks like. Careful with your he's and she's, because it was hard for me to understand whether you're talking about a woman or a man. You called this person both a man and a woman. Was it a woman or a man?
A man.
A man. So Mr.
Sorry.
Yeah, so there was both. It's a very common mistake in English, but you do have to be careful. If you make that mistake multiple times, then you will lose marks, okay? So it's very common. Just make sure to focus on it, okay? Joseph, okay. All right, so that was one missing part. The other missing part, Domenico, was this last question. What would you like to ask this person and why? You must not forget that question when you're in your real IELTS. It's very important to answer that last question. Okay? All right. Then with those 2, if you include them and you make a few corrections to your word choice and your grammar, and say it all fluently, then you're up in the band 9 category. I really liked some of your vocabulary, like left a lasting impression. That's a very nice common phrase in English that we use when somebody has an impact on our lives. And you said infectious passion for the subject. I liked how you used the adjective infectious. That's a nice adaptation of that word. Okay. All right, so that was good. There were a couple awkward parts, like where you said they didn't wake up my enthusiasm.
Didn't work up. Work up. Work up.
Okay.
Work up.
we don't say it quite that way in natural English, Domenico. It's not wake up. It's the correct word here. It's a tricky one. But, this is how we learn, Domenico, is by trying, right? What's another way to say wake?
Capture my enthusiasm.
No, there is a way to say it with wake, but it's not wake up. It starts with an A. It's a tricky one. I'm going to help you out here. It's awaken. They didn't awaken.
Awaken my.
Yeah.
Awaken my enthusiasm.
Yeah. So it's a tricky one. It's awoke my enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Okay, tricky one. All right. So awaken. Yeah, Fuang's like, ooh, awaken. Okay. Tia says awaken. Yes. Awake or awaken the enthusiasm. Exactly. So that's, it's a small mistake, right? It's like, okay, I'm pretty sure he means awaken. It's a small mistake. But when you're getting up into those band 8, 8.59, it's these little tiny mistakes that start to matter more. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Okay, Domenico, some good learning and some great English there. So keep practicing lots, okay?
Yes, I will.
All right, and go hang your feet in the cold or cooler Adriatic Sea, or no, the Mediterranean for you, right?
The Mediterranean Sea.
Nice, warm Mediterranean. All right, enjoy the hot day. If you don't get a chance to go out and cool down in the sea, then at least eat a nice big ice cream or something, okay? You've got your very famous Italian gelato that we're all jealous of. So,
have you ever tried one?
I have, yes. I've been to Italy and I've eaten Italian gelato. I've been very fortunate, Domenico. Okay, bye for now, Domenico.
Bye.
All right, that was Domenico ending on a happy gelato note. Thumbs up, everybody. Gelato is, of course, the Italian ice cream. Okay, let's give Angel a chance here just after. See if we can connect with Angel today. Angel, are you ready? Thumbs up for Domenico. Absolutely, he deserves it. Angel, if you're there, with that spelling, it would be Angel. Long E. Angel, one of our regular members, very hardworking.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Angel. How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm doing good. I guess you were a little bit busy with those 7 thumbs up that you were giving to Domenico in the emojis, right? You're like, oh, I'm supposed to be talking, but I'm still hitting my emojis.
Yeah.
Emoji. All right. All right. Okay. All right, Angel. Any special plans for the weekend?
No, I want to. You know what? I always, since I started my English journey, I find my weekends as a golden opportunity to practice English. Yeah.
Nice language. Golden opportunity to practice English. Good for you. Where are you learning your natural expressions from? Like, where did you learn golden opportunity from?
Yes, sir. I always try to find new phrases and idioms from YouTube, and also I ask from my friends who are really proficient in English.
Good for you. That's great. Yeah, absolutely. It's nice and natural. All right, well, let's do this cue card, and I will give you a bit of feedback afterwards. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. So talk about someone who has inspired you in your life, in sports, education, or career. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Yeah. The person who inspired me to pursue psychology was my father's friend, Mr. Senta, a middle-aged psychologist and a university professor with black and white hair and glasses, who has over 30 years of experience in this field. Mr. Santa is an accomplished psychologist who is always ready to lend a helping hand to his colleagues and students. He's approachable and willingly supports others with his positive attitudes towards life, which is infectious. He recognized my talent for helping people find solutions to their challenges and encouraged me to pursue psychology as my university major. Um, his approach and resume were my source of inspiration, and I chose to be his disciple by applying for the psychology faculty in my homeland. Fortunately, we still keep in touch, and he is my family friend. And if I want to ask a question, I would like to ask him for advice on how to become a skilled and knowledgeable psychologist. And I think the reason for that is Mr. Santa is the most extraordinary researchers and psychologists that I've ever known in my life. And I think his roadmap to his success could serve a role model for my future career life.
Okay, I will stop you there, and we will now continue with part 3. All right. First of all, your band level. I'd give you a band 8 for that response. Okay, so it's very good. That was a very good response. Not expert, but very good. I'll tell you why not an expert, where you lose that one band in just a moment. Okay, so very nice and fluent, very clear answer, lots of great vocabulary. Your fluency is a band 9. Your coherence is a band 8.5. Your lexical resource is a band 8. Pronunciation is a band 8. Grammatical range and accuracy is a band 8. Okay, so therefore 8 overall for just that part 2. Let me digress a little bit and explain why. So nice start. I really like how all of our regular students are understanding the concept of these very direct, fluent starts. I'm sure all of you can see now, especially those of you who are in these classes regularly, how much better and more valuable it is when you start in this way, as opposed to taking a long pause and going, or saying something like, well, there are lots of inspirational people in my life, such as, but the one I'd like to talk about today is. So do you see, Angel, how it's just much better to get right into it and give the content?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. So here you chose to talk about a personal acquaintance, and you said the person who inspired me to pursue psychology was my father's friend. You gave his name. You gave a really good description, quick description of who he is, with black and white hair, glasses, has over 30 years of experience in the field. Really good. Okay, nice. Then you gave some information about his personality. You said he is always ready to lend a helping hand. A really nice use of English there. To his colleagues and friends. Okay. This is an important tip, Angel, for you, but also for everybody else. When you give a piece of information like this, where you say he is always ready to lend a helping hand to his colleagues and friends, it's really effective to include an example of what you're saying, like just a quick example, right? Can you give me an example of how he has lent a hand to his colleague or his friend? Just any example, you can make it up.
Yeah. For example, if I send him a message in order to ask about a mental disorder, as an example, he always is ready to support me and always give me a clear answer about what I want to know.
Within 24 hours.
Yeah, and also
just add that part. Angel, just add that part. Within 24 hours.
Within 24 hours.
Okay, numbers are your friend, and that's for everybody. Okay, so just that piece of information, it really emphasizes that he's a very helpful person. He doesn't, respond 2 weeks later, a month later, but he looks, he answers, he helps, right? Okay, so those examples can really, they don't need to be long. So make those examples concise, Angel. Okay, so just the other week, I asked him a question about Asperger's syndrome, and he responded to me within 24 hours with some great information. So just a quick example like that, okay? And then it really emphasizes that characteristic, okay? And then you gave some really nice answers. Watch your, most of the words are very clear that that you state. There was one word where I was like, most examiners would kind of put a little X on their paper for that one. You use the word disciple. I think you said disciple. It's disciple.
Yes, sir.
Can you pronounce that word for me? Disciple.
Disciple.
Disciple. I chose to be his disciple.
I chose to be his disciple.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you mispronounce one or two words, it's not the end of the world, but you definitely, if the pronunciation is kind of close, then it's okay, but that one was quite off. So that's why it would immediately be kind of a little light bulb in the examiner's head. Okay, and then you said, if I want to ask a question, I would ask how to become a skilled and knowledgeable person. Here it's a bit of grammar form. It's not skill. The correct form of the word should be, what is it, Angel? I would ask how to become a skill.
Skilled.
Skilled is okay. Skillful and knowledgeable psychologist. Okay, so skillful and knowledgeable psychologist. Right?
Yeah.
So that was just a small word form mistake that would be counted as a grammatical error. So those are the ones that, I caught. Now, when a student is going for a band 8, band 9 level result, Angel, then oftentimes the examiners will listen again to the speaking. That's why they're recording it. And sometimes when the marks are high, like a band 8, the supervisor or another examiner will also listen just to make sure that it's accurate. They don't give out those high marks easily, so you really have to earn them. So what I would probably do in this case, if I'm thinking that this is a band 8, but there were a couple of small mistakes like skillful and disciple, I would probably listen again and check to see whether I'm being too critical and you deserve an 8.5, or whether I maybe missed some mistakes and you actually deserve a 7.5. So I would listen again to the recording. Okay, that's how it works in the IELTS. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Overall, though, Angel, that was really, really good. All right. So keep up the good work. Record yourself and check for mistakes like that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Bye, Angel.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Thank you. All right. Angel beat me to the punch and hung up first. Good for you. All right. Let's take one more, students. Let's take Ali here from the bottom. Now, if you're not getting a chance so far, Lydia Fuang, hang in there next class for sure, right? So, Ali, are you ready? We'll give Ali a chance. Constellation, you and Sajan. Again, I've got my eyes on you, so I'm making mental notes here myself of who is being ambitious. Maybe I'll just do some screenshots as well. Ali, you can become a part of the live session right now. If you're there, if you're watching, I can reach out to you. We can contact each other. I can answer your question, and you can try this part 2 if you would like. I'll give you another 3 seconds to respond. This live class is a members chat class, so to join the chat here, you want to be a member. Okay, lots of thumbs up for Angel in the meantime. All right, Ali, I'm not hearing anything from you, so I'm going to go up the ladder here. And Nguyen, don't call me, I'll call you. Okay, so I'll try Riyad here. Riyad, are you ready? All right, Riyad says hi. Adele caught that idiom I used. Yeah, beat me to the punch. Hi, Riyad.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you. How are you doing, Riyad?
I'm pretty weak because I had caught dengue fever.
Oh no, you're down with the dengue fever.
Yes,
Uh, well, that's not good. Lots of
but I did some mock test last couple of days.
Well, I'm sending you lots of positive vibes, and we're all thinking about you. So get better soon, okay? Lots and lots of fluids, right? Dengue fever really takes the fluid, the water out of your body. So you have to drink lots of tea, lots of fluids. All right, let's try this part two, Riyadh. Are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm
All right.
ready.
So talk about someone who has inspired you in your life, in sports, education, or career. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
The person who stimulated me most is my great urology professor named Professor Dr. Johid. He is about 57 years old, white hair, black eyes, strong build, and thick, strong glass, always wearing apron, about 160 centimeter long. I had knew Professor Dr. Johid when we attempted our final professional examination at our medical university named Dhaka Medical College University. Moreover, he is the professor and principal of urology department, and he has own unit, and he had 30 more than 30 years experience on urology field. When our examination is over, on this period of time, an emergency is occurred. A young man who is having injured with road traffic accident and followed by ruptured urethra. Fortunately, there was no professor that time. However, Dr. Johir's duty is over. Meanwhile, the man is unconscious with hypotensive as well as other medical conditions that indicates that the man is going to be dead. Indeed, Dr. Johir emergency operated the man, and after 3 hours gross operation, we repair her urethra, and the patient is having normal gradually day by day. His contribution and challenge make lives different and save the patient's life. And he told us that there is no time limit on doctor. I have had a dream to be a doctor, such Dr. Johid. When I given a chance, I told Dr. Johid, how can you manage and how can you feed your coworkers and your family members? Dr. Johid inspired us very carefully and given a piece that we were very very attractive and very very personality traits man that we cannot that we cannot have any duty of time that we should be encouraged anything.
Okay, I will stop you there. And we will now continue with part three. All right, let me give you some feedback. So your band score there, your band score would be about a band 6.5 for that. Your fluency is great. Your fluency is like a band 8 to a band 9. Your coherence is about a band 6, so 5 to 6. I understand most of what you're saying clearly, but there are definitely certain parts where I'm trying to figure out what you're saying exactly. And the reason for that is word choice. So your lexical resource mark would also be about a band 6, band 5 to 6, because you have a lot of vocabulary, but you're not using certain vocabulary accurately, or you're missing certain vocabulary. So you have to really pay attention to using correct vocabulary. Okay, I'm going to give you a few examples here in just a second. Your grammatical range and accuracy is also about a 6, and your pronunciation is about a 7. So I can understand most of the words clearly. There are a few words where I have to give a little bit of extra attention. Now, here's an interesting piece of information for everybody. When you're choosing the wrong words for a situation, it also affects your pronunciation, because when it's not the correct word in the content or the context, then it also makes it difficult for the listener to figure out what it is you're trying to say. If you're using the correct word, then the brain of the listener kind of automatically fixes the pronunciation. But when it's not the right word, the brain cannot fix the pronunciation automatically. Do you get what I'm saying with that, Riyad?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So what you want to do is record yourself, Riyad, and really review your choice of words. Okay.
Yeah. When I did my mock test, I draw up a plan that you had taught with all of our students. The examiner is amazed and told me that that was a great idea. That you can draw up your idea and you can say, well, this
Mhm.
plan is great. And I told that I appreciate you. And the teacher told you that there is a great teacher over the world.
Thanks for sharing that, Riyad. I appreciate that, and I'm flattered. Let me give you a couple of detailed points here. So you said he is the professor and principal of the department. In university or college, especially medical university, they're usually not called principals of the department. Do you know what they're called?
Uh,
Starts with a D.
Doctorate,
No, they're called the dean of the department.
dean.
Dean. Okay. If you don't
Uh,
know, if you
but
don't know the
but
word
I think
dean, you can use head.
yes, I am familiar with this word dean. We have a dean, but the principal I worked there about 3 years. He is also principal and professor. He is
Okay.
the departmental head of radiology.
That's what I thought, that you might have multiple titles, which is okay. You wouldn't really lose marks for that necessarily, but it does in the examiner's head come up as like, are you sure you're being principal and not dean? So if you want to choose a safe kind of word where there's no confusion, then say head of the department or one of the heads of the
Yeah, yeah,
department, right?
head of the department. This
Yeah.
is the suitable word.
And again, so some awkward phrasing, like you said, an emergency occurred. A more natural way to say that, smoother way, is there was an emergency.
Yeah.
Okay, instead of saying an emergency occurred, it's kind of awkward to say it in that way in natural English. Okay, and then you said a young man who is having a road traffic accident. Again, understandable but awkward. Okay, simpler. A young man had a traffic accident. Okay, so sometimes it's just a matter of simplifying your thoughts or your words.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so just repeat
Yes,
after
sir.
me. There was an emergency. A young man had a traffic accident.
There was an emergency. A young man had a traffic accident.
Okay, and so just simplify like that. Okay, so there were quite a few different phrases and expressions you used that could be simplified and made more natural, so it's easier for your listener to comprehend. So practice that. Okay, practice that. Record and simplify. Okay, Riyad?
Yes, sir. I think I could improve, but my medical issues is uh, drop my speaking. That's why
Yeah,
I
and
cannot speak appropriately.
it's amazing that you're able to speak in another language while you're suffering with this fever. A lot of people don't make any sense even in their own language when they have a fever. So good for you, Riyad, and I appreciate you for volunteering, and I wish you a quick recovery. Come back when you're feeling better. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pray for me, and my exam is about 7th August.
Okay.
Video speaking under British Council.
Awesome. Well, I will keep my fingers crossed. You've got about a month almost until that time, so make sure you come back a few more times and volunteer. Okay.
Yes, sir. Definitely pray
Okay.
for me, sir.
Bye, Riyad.
Bye, sir.
All right, praying for Riyad for a quick recovery and some good studies for his upcoming exam. All right, everybody. So this is the speaking interface of the website. I will be using this in the next class. You can chat with each other, practice this part 2 cue card in the next 25 minutes. I'm coming back in 25 minutes to conduct a lesson part 3 speaking, which will be related to this topic of inspirational people. So definitely a good idea to think about friends, family, but also famous individuals who inspire. Thank you, Adele, Sevde, Busra, Angel, Habibe, Chayani, Lydia, Fuang, Romelia, Domenico. You're all awesome for the effort that you put in continuously in these live classes. Sign up for the premium package, everyone, by clicking the big red button. It's absolutely worth spending a few dollars on that for lifelong learning. And for general IELTS students, it's gieltshelp.com, aehelp.com for academic. I'm back here, same place in 25 minutes exactly for part 3. Until then, go to the websites, stretch your legs, grab a glass of water, hydrate yourself, talk to each other through the website, test out your system, and then come back and practice with me to finish this week of live classes. See you shortly, everybody. Bye for now.